Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So today I would like to talk about memory size and memory bandwidth limitations on current gen consoles and PC. Now this is an interesting topic because recently, last couple of weeks, months maybe, I've been reporting on more and more games for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 running at 1080p or close, right? When in reality we would expect these games to run at like 1440p rather, right? Because if there's a game that offers 4K 30 option mode and then 1080p 60, I mean, it makes no sense, because why not something in the middle, right? The GPU power is there, CPU clearly will handle that as well. So where's the problem? Well, I think the problem is the memory. And every single time I did that type of video, I would get a number of comments in the section that it might be something to do with memory, right? Especially recently. And there may be something to it if you really think about it, because that's the only logic conclusion, I guess. And also, I did mention PC at the very beginning of this video for a reason, and I'll talk about PC in a minute as well, because looks like developers are actually taking a piss on PC a little bit recently too. Okay, so first off, let's talk about specs. Okay, so when it comes to these consoles, this generation consoles, Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, let's focus on these because Xbox Series S is less powerful one and it doesn't really aim for 4K or 1440p 60 anyway. So PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X in like raw power or performance capability, it comes with Xbox Series X, for example, comes with 2.5 maybe up to 3 times more capable GPU than Xbox One X, so the most powerful last generation console. It comes with 4 times capable CPU. Microsoft did say that, right? And it makes sense. And then when we talk about the memory, well, that's not really such a good story anymore, because memory has been upgraded only slightly. So not only Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM versus 12 last generation, not really much of a difference. You know, I'm comparing it to Xbox One X, which was really a 4K 30 frames per second machine, right? So that's only 4 gigabytes more memory. That's not a lot. And B, memory bandwidth. Xbox One X offered, or still offers, I think 336 gigabytes per second memory bandwidth, or 360, something like that, right? While PlayStation 5 offers 448 gigabytes per second, and Xbox Series X offers 560 gigabytes per second memory bandwidth, that 10 gigabytes pool, right? So we're still not talking about massive difference, right? Like, it's not even double the performance, double the well, you know, not only the size but also performance, the bandwidth is not even double, right? Especially when it comes to PlayStation 5, but even Xbox Series X doesn't offer double. So memory is actually becoming a bottleneck big time, in my opinion. That's why, even though you know, you can really push, like GPU and CPU wise, you could potentially push the game to 1440p 60 frames per second, memory is actually not capable to deliver all that data you know, basically on time. And this is actually, and now let's talk about PC for a moment, because, like, you know, the game you're actually looking at right now, that's Hogwarts Legacy. It runs quite well on consoles. It still requires a little bit of a patching and extra optimization, but it's not too bad. While on PC, it's a bit, yeah, there's a little bit of an issue there, because it's very memory hungry, and I'm talking about VRAM, I'm talking about GPU memory hungry. And it's so hungry that even RTX 3070, a graphics card which I have, and it's a pretty powerful graphics card still, it cannot run this game at 1080p 60 frames per second in ultra settings because of not GPU power, of lack of it, but actually not enough memory. So what I'm trying to say is that these games are still not really taking advantage of the super fast SSDs and the way the new engines should work, streaming data on the fly and everything. They are still, even though some of these games like Dead Space, for example, is really a current gen console only game, but the technology is really still from the last generation, a lot of it, right? Still, optimized for this generation, but like the most basic parts of it is probably still from the last generation engines. And it's not really taking advantage of, SSDs data streaming. It's not taking advantage of direct storage. It's not taking advantage of SFS or, sampler feedback on PC. And this is why I think it's so important. I've been talking about this topic for so many times. And I was saying that even especially for Xbox Series S, if developers will not use SFS and direct storage, the whole Xbox Velocity architecture, you won't be getting these performance gains and these proper next-gen games. Because without it, there's not going to be enough memory. And like I said many times in previous videos, direct storage is not only about faster loading times, like per se, right? Yes, it allows to access all kinds of different files on the fly at the same time. It's not serialized like on the mechanical drives, but you can access way more files at the same time and load them. But also, like, direct storage offers texture decompression, right? So that offloads the CPU resources and stuff, right? So that speeds things up as well. But here's the thing also. SFS is even more important because SFS on consoles and sampler feedback on PC will allow for better use of memory. So not only a game will not require as much VRAM, right? Like SFS on consoles can reduce the memory usage by at least 100% up to 200. So we're talking about 2 up to 3 times multiplayer. So if a game this generation requires 8 gigabytes of VRAM, well, with 3 times a multiplier, that means that a game properly optimized for SFS use and direct storage would only use like 2.5 gigabytes, max 3, right? And this way, not only you save memory when it comes to size, but also memory bandwidth. You don't have to transfer as much data, so memory bandwidth is actually saved as well. So yeah, I think we, not necessarily we as a gamers, but I think developers soon enough will have to really focus on implementing these next-gen features, because without them, even these powerful consoles will not be able to handle all that data, all that pretty graphics that developers will want to throw at us, right? And I bet that when you hear about Forza Motorsport, right, the game that's coming out this year, and you hear that this game will run at 4K, dynamic 4K, 60 frames per second with ray tracing in the actual game, not just a photo mode, on Xbox Series X, and 1080p 60 with ray tracing on Xbox Series S, you know that they must be using these features already. And I get it. First-party developers will always be the first to utilize these features, but I think that developers like third-party developers will have to start using them, pretty soon as well, because otherwise we'll be playing games at 720p on this console. I'm not joking, because even Dead Space remake right now, the internal resolution is like 856p or something like that, right? Like close to it. Yes, FSR 2.0 helps, but it's not solving all the issues. Like, you still get that soft game. And let's face it, Dead Space is not like next gen good looking game, right? It looks good, but not like next gen good, right? So I think that, yeah, hopefully developers will finally start using them. I even had some conversations about it with Paul of Red Tech Gaming on Twitter, and he seems to be of that opinion as well. So he actually mentioned that, yeah, developers better start using direct storage and SFS and sample feedback on PC, because without it, yeah, we'll be getting issues, basically issues. And yeah, I kind of get it. On PC you can always buy a better GPU, but yeah, there's some limits to it as well, and not everyone wants to spend like hundreds of dollars on these, bloody expensive GPUs. Makes no sense. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.